Hello, everybody. We would like to close the doors and start with a press conference. You can ask somebody of the organizers, please. Right. So, welcome to the concluding press conference of this week's SMILE meeting in Lausanne. And thank you, everybody, for coming. My name is Hannah Otto. You might remember me from the press conference on Monday. I will present this session. First of all, we would like to thank everyone for their support and their help. There are so many who were here this week working together with us. We want to especially thank the university again for hosting us here. This gave us the possibility of meeting all of us here. Thank you. And then, thank you to you, the media, for your interest and your support of our cause. Today, we will have 4 participants on stage and 1 guest. They will give you an insight into the meeting. As we are a grassroots movement with horizontal structures, we had decided at the beginning to have different participants on stage at the 2 press conferences. Like that, you will have the possibility to get to know more of us. Today at 3 p.m., our demonstration will start at the main station. Greta Thunberg will be there among the other participants. This week's goal was to bring together quite a few activists from our movement. Our aim has been to reinforce our links, especially internationally. By doing so, we want to strengthen our movement and enlarge mobilization. I would like to remind everyone of some facts regarding the SMILE participants. The SMILE participants are self-elected, and they are not representatives sent by their national movement. We are young people from a wide diversity of backgrounds, and with wide diversity of genders, opinions, ages, and so on. We came together here with lots of differences. Our differences are a strength. But we also have a lot in common. We have a common cause. We want to raise awareness about the climate crisis and the lack of action by decision makers around the whole world. For that, we continue striking and working together during our holidays, as we have been doing this week here. During the week, we had scientific help in all the working groups. All of our discussions were supported by scientific experts. A whole group of Scientists for Futures from all over Europe was working on questions that participants were asking. Scientists present at our meeting here in Lausanne transferred their input. They gave us some sources and explained things in a manner everybody could understand. By doing so, we have ensured that scientific facts gave a basis to our discussions. We have aimed to cover all aspects of the environmental crisis, from sources to consequences, and ways to fight it. That is why we have had lots of different activities during this week. The participants took part in various activities, such as the 60 workshops during the week. We had invited special guests to give plenary talks, such as Jean-Pascal van Ypersele, who is here today as well, and who will come on stage afterwards. The program was built in a democratic process, which was a good experience in taking group decisions. The participants have exchanged ideas in working documents during the plenary. We discovered that it is not easy to discuss neither content nor structure with more than 400 people, but also that it is possible to do so. As a result of this process, 3 points have been put forward by consensus. First, ensure climate justice and equity. Second, keep the global temperature rise below 1.5 degrees compared to pre-industrial levels. Third, listen to the best united science currently available. Okay, now we would like to hear some impressions of our participants. So I ask 3 participants on stage. Julia, Maria, and Simon. David? So, Julia, you're from Lebanon, you're 16 years old, and it's the first time that that's the first time that for you as well to gather with so many people internationally of Fridays for Future. What did you like most about this week's meeting?
So what I love the most about this week, it's the social aspect. At the beginning, we just like exchange our number and social media account, and then we exchange like traditional food, traditional music, and slogan. And even if we have like different culture and different background, that give me hope for the future.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. David, you're 14 years old, you're from Italy, and you have attended the previous International Fridays for Future meeting. With your background, how did you feel about this week?
Thank you. So yes, I was at the Fridays for Future meeting in Strasbourg, which happened in March, and then this week's summit. And I feel the best words to describe this meeting is just great and incredible. We had the opportunity to work with people from 38 countries, which is just incredible, all together united.
Okay. And Maria, you're from Greece. I've heard that there has been some issues in the decision-making process during the strategic plenaries. How did you feel about that?
Well, I think it was hard for everyone, including me, but reaching full consensus is always difficult, and every group has its ups and downs sometimes. But I think that's completely human. Disagreement is completely human. So finally, these ups and downs actually merge us all together, and we're more stronger and we're more united than before. We believe that every opinion should be heard and respected and included.
Okay. So, and what are your plans for after the meeting? Julia?
I went to the workshop on the marine ecosystem workshop on Tuesday morning, and I want to mobilize more people in my country to maybe organize some beach cleanup or yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. And David, did you get any new knowledge about the current environmental situation?
Well, we spent half of our time in big plenaries all together, taking important decisions and discussing. And the rest of my time I spent in smaller groups, working up the solutions that we would then propose to the big plenaries. And I was actually in the demands working group, and I had the opportunity to work with top-level scientists who gave us many inputs to work with the demands. And I think it is really important and so great that we had the opportunity to work with IPCC experts who I feel need us as much as we need them.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. So now let me turn to Jean-Pascal van Ipsele. You were appointed by the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon as one of the 15 eminent scientists to draft the Global Sustainable Development Report, which will be published within the next few weeks. And you have been a co-chair of the IPCC until 2015, and you have also been finishing the land report this week. May I invite you on stage? Vice Chair, oh sorry, who's Vice Chair of the IPCC. So how was this week for you? Sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. Good morning, everyone, and good morning. I was actually very tired when I arrived because we had many sleepless nights in Geneva in the WMO building to finalize the IPCC report. It's about the 25th report if you count the various volumes of the assessment report and all the special reports the IPCC has published. The 25th report that the IPCC has published. Can you imagine that? The first one has been published in 1990. And these were each time wake-up calls, and most policymakers and economic actors have actually pushed the snooze button every time, 24 times at least, until the youth movement, Fridays for Future, Youth for Climate, I mean all these different youth movements in Europe and many other parts of the world started to help, as you just said, help the IPCC pass forward its message. Because, as I said many times, an IPCC report, it's easy to put in a drawer, you know, after you say thank you very much to the scientists, and you can hide it in a drawer and then forget about it. A young person looking into the eyes of policymakers and decision makers, that's much more difficult to put in a drawer, you know, especially if they are with a few thousands of their friends in the streets. If they ask, what have you done? What will you do to protect our future? That kind of thing you cannot put in a drawer so easily. The IPCC just published that landmark, no pun intended, landmark report showing that agriculture, forests, and the entire system that feeds us needs to be changed. And in a big way. There's still 800 million people malnourished on this planet today, while 30% of our food overall is wasted. These numbers are literally shocking. Forests, which play such important roles for indigenous people, biodiversity, healthy soils, are destroyed at increasing rates. And what is happening now in the Amazonia is a real source of concern. Forestry, biodiversity, agriculture, and all that, actually, if you think about it, all of that means people will be increasingly affected by climate change if we stay on the present business as usual trajectory on which we are and on which we have been for the past 40 years when I started to work on climate change. The way food is produced, processed, consumed, need to change if we want to protect climate, and decreasing meat consumption is certainly one aspect that needs to be seriously considered in developed countries at least. Please read the summary for policymakers, which is available on the IPCC webpage, ipcc.ch, if you want to know more. And if I can have a very short advertisement, if you speak French, read the newsletter that my platform in French, La Plateforme Wallonne pour le GIEC, has published last week before the report was published, and it explains what the report is all about. Plateforme Wallonne GIEC.be is the address. I said I was tired when I arrived. Actually, I didn't sleep much more since I've been in Lausanne, because you have filled my days and evenings and early mornings so well while I was here. Still, I feel energized now. You know, in French we say un bain de jouvence. I don't know what's the right translation for that. I mean, it's a bath of youth, but it's probably not the exact expression. The energy, the conscience, the diversity, the determination I've met in all of you and all of those in the other room, those 400 young people from all over Europe, who adopted yesterday a set of consensus texts about values and key demands of the overall youth movement, and also designed and discussed a reservoir of ideas that they can put on the table for the various youth movements so they can pick and choose what their priorities are at national level. All this is extremely encouraging and useful. In Belgium, where I live, the Youth for Climate, that's the name of the movement in Belgium, has asked me to co-chair a group of experts for the 3 months before the European elections to help them answer the questions that journalists were always asking young people. Yes, you are in the street saying nothing is done. What do you suggest? And they said in those Belgian news, well, it's not for us to answer in the most qualified way. One key message is listen to the expert, listen to the scientist. So they asked us to produce a report, which was ready a few days before the European and Belgian elections. And this report, if you're interested, is available in French at least, and Dutch on panelclimat.be. And I know it has been used in other countries as a reference, also as a reservoir of ideas, including in the Canton de Vaud, where we are. So what you, young people, and all your friends and colleagues have done, inspired by Greta initially, is absolutely extraordinary. Thank you very much for what you have done. What I've seen this week gives me much hope for the future. I mean, this is an expression already used this morning. I use it again. Please continue your good work. I'm no more tired.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. And thank you for your scientific work. We thank the scientists and the IPCC for the work they are doing. It is their overwhelming scientific consensus that forms the basis of the Fridays for Future movement. We have had a very intense week with too little sleep, as we already heard. We went through different phases. Some of them were difficult, and we moved on a steep learning curve. We got to know each other, our differences, and even more what we have in common. We worked together in lots of different ways, also by drafting documents. One is the Lausanne Climate Declaration. Finlay from Scotland will read from it in a moment. This is a document agreed by all participants of the SMILE meeting present in the plenary. It will be available for you online within this morning. And then we have also a so-called working document. This is a vast collection of all the work that has been done this week, and before even. It will be shared with all participants to serve as a toolbox and a pool of ideas for national and local work, for anybody who wants to use it. This will become available soon, after some editing as well. And this is a document that will always remain in process. So now, I want to ask Finlay on stage. Please give him a round of applause for his incredible courage. He's only 11 years old.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say good morning, and, well, I suppose I should start. Well, we have come together in Lausanne because we care. We are at a crossroad in history. The collapse of our society and our ecosystems is on the horizon, and time is running out. What happens in the next months and years will decide on how the future of humankind will look. Our collective extinction is a possible outcome. Politicians all over the world are ignoring the emergency, but we have decided that we cannot wait any longer. We've come together in Lausanne to unite behind our common goals and take action because we care about the future. In 5 days of international exchange in Lausanne, we have discovered that we have differences. We're all individuals coming from 38 different countries, talking in 29 different languages, living 421 different lives, and calling upon 38 different governments to take action. There are people in this world who will use this to drive us apart. This is why we've decided to show them that our united vision is stronger. At our hearts, we all carry the same concerns, goals, and values, and they connect us in every moment, no matter where we are and what challenges we face. We are never alone because we know we are all part of one movement. The climate crisis knows no borders, and neither do we. Together we will change this world for the better, for us and for all generations to come. Thank you.
Sit down there. Thank you a lot, Finley. Okay, so if there are questions from your part, we have some time for that now. We would like every journalist to present him or herself with name and the media you're coming from. We would like to encourage diverse questions, so we will limit the number of questions per media. Are there questions? There's one question here in front, inside.
I have a question with regards to your discussions, and I would like to know if action was taken.
Could you just say who you are, present
yes,
yourself?
My name is Gérard Blanc. I am two things. One is writing for La Méduse, which is an online newspaper, and also I am the spokesperson of Grands-Parents pour le Climat. Yes, my question is, throughout your discussions, I would like to know if any idea or action has been discussed with regards to the politician going to be elected. Because with Grands-Parents pour le Climat, that's the sort of things that we are going to do, and putting the politician in front of their responsibilities.
Are you referring to the Swiss elections, or?
I'm talking about the Swiss election, but I'd be interested to know if similar actions were forwarded in the future, elsewhere.
Maybe I can answer that as part of the organization team. So, as this was an international meeting, we haven't been focusing on questions of the Swiss elections. One of our general goals, and one thing that's just going on right next to us at the moment, is working on a kind of structure and also just brainstorming ideas on how to mobilize more people. That's one of the goals of this week and one of the topics we have been working on throughout the week. It's not directly projects connected to any national election, as it was including everybody, and the national groups will take care of how to organize things linked especially to elections going on in their countries. There's another question here in front. Yeah, just wait a second for the microphone to arrive. Yeah.
I'm Isolde Mousseau. I come from Germany. I have made a platform, klima27.com, where you can publish news in all world language and translate news in all world language. And I have questions to you. What do you mean exactly with Oh, I'll ask you later. I have.
We
No
might
idea.
just take another question, and if you find what you were
Yes.
wanting to ask,
Excuse
we'll
me.
come back to you.
Excuse me, I'm very nervous today.
It's okay. There's another question here in front. The yellow microphone.
So, hi, my name is Fabienne Kinzelmann. I'm from Blick and Sonntagsblick in Zurich, and I'm covering the summit since Monday. You might be the most important movement worldwide, and since Wednesday I experienced that you were throwing out media more and more. So I think it started on Wednesday morning, and yesterday there were several signs showing no media, welcome, no media. So how do you see the role of press freedom related to your movement?
Does somebody of the organizers wants to answer to that question? Non, tu as besoin de le refaire.
Is that working?
Yeah.
Great. As you noticed, media has been welcomed during the whole week, not only during press conferences, but during the whole week. You were totally part of the process. Fridays for Future aims to be transparent. We would like to thank you for coming, and we are taking care of transparency, and we think it's extremely important you are covering this meeting, but also all Fridays for Future activities and decision-making process, as this movement is coming from the civil society and aims to make our civil society better. Regarding the events various of yesterday's and the day before yesterday, sometimes we are human beings and we need privacy. And probably that is the only thing why we sometimes just tend to ask the media to get out of the room. But of course, we really appreciate your work and we really appreciate the media coverage during the whole week. Thank you.
There's one question here in the middle, in the front. Green? You don't have to press anything.
Hi, okay, maybe I speak in English. So my name is Elise Buckle, and it's great to see Jean-Yves here because we were working together for Fiji when Fiji had the presidency of COP23. I write for climate and sustainability, and I'm also an advisor to the team that's working on the climate summit convened by the Secretary General in September in New York. So we're also in touch with the Youth for Nature movement. I don't know if you're aware of this big campaign that's working on nature-based solutions, which are very important to respond to the IPCC report on land, on food, on forest. And so we're trying to have a more optimistic view of what could be done concretely by investing in forest, in ecosystem restoration, and sustainable food and agriculture. So my question to you is basically, well, first, is Smile for Future for Europe going to stay beyond this meeting in Lausanne? Are you planning any activities beyond that? And are you planning to engage with the Youth for Nature movement for the summit? And is there anything we can do to help you as well to make your voice heard during the various events in September?
Again, I would ask somebody from the organization team to come on stage to answer that.
Hello. So in September, there are different actions which are going to be planned in different countries to show that we are also there and we are looking to what's happening in New York too. And what was the question?
She doesn't have a microphone anymore.
Oh, sorry.
So there's a youth summit on the 21st of September, for example, where they will showcase nature-based solutions, and there's also nature-based solutions momentum on the Sunday, where we are very keen on giving a voice to youth. And so I was just asking if there was anything we could do to support you, but I also understand you will be doing action in Europe, in the cities where you are. So we can maybe connect after the meeting.
I think we we can start a discussion. And also after the Smile itself, we are, I don't know if you've seen, there are some cities who propose themselves to organize a further meeting to keep working together and to keep having a coordination European-wide. So this is also a plan which is coming up at the moment. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I work for 24 Heures, local daily in Lausanne. Coming back to the events of September, you say that the next stage of the Fridays for Future movement will be the largest climate strike mobilization in history. Did you discuss what exactly will happen in September, where, on what scale, during this week?
Okay. Yeah, great.
And maybe if we can, you can mention what is going to happen in Switzerland to take a concrete example.
I think you won't answer for Switzerland, but go ahead.
Thank you. So every single national and local group is going to organize an action as the best fit for the local context. In Italy, for example, we're going to have many different actions starting from the 20th up until our strike on the 27th. In every country, that's going to be a little different, but we're going to be united all over the world, not only in Europe. Regarding Switzerland, I cannot answer as I'm from Italy.
Regarding Switzerland, as it has already been announced, we call for a school strike on Friday 27th, and this strike will be done in every cities in the regions. And then there are critical mass, so bike masses organizing the trip to Bern, the capital of Switzerland. And on September 28th, we're gonna have a huge national in one place strike and march for climate in Bern.
Here in front, you found your question again. There's a microphone behind you. Just take that one down there.
In the internet, I have heard some commentaries about youth, and I see that a lot of people don't understand what you mean with climate justice now. And I think it's very important that you make clear what you mean exactly with climate justice now. Thank you.
Does somebody of you want to answer to that question? You? Yeah?
So in regards to what climate justice now means, really, it means we want, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, we want you to have a fair chance in dealing with climate change, no matter how rich or how poor you are. That's basically what that means,
Yeah.
I think.
That's right. Do you want to say more? Okay. Thank you. Is there any more questions? Okay. So, thank you very much for your interest and your questions, and thank you for reporting on our summit. I'm hoping to see you at 3 o'clock at the main station for the demonstration. We're looking forward to that. Please all come. The next big event planned has already been discussed. There's the Earth Strike Week starting on September 20th. We're looking forward to that. And yeah, thanks a lot.